Hey beautiful people, it is your girl Empress. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about the dark night of the soul. I'm quite sure that people experience several dark nights of the soul in their lifetime. I'm going to be talking about my most recent one, how long it lasts and what the phases were and how long it took me to get out of that. If you've ever experienced the dark night of the soul, let me know how your experience was and how long it lasted. And what did you also do to help pull yourself out of that? I would love to hear your comments down below. Alright, so first off, I'm going to discuss the definition of the dark night of the soul. I wrote it on a little piece of paper here so I can read it verbatim. Here's what I have. The dark night of the soul is a profound spiritual and existential crisis marked by feelings of emptiness, despair, and a sense of disconnect from one's usual purpose. It is often triggered by a major life event that leads to the death of the ego and a new, more authentic self. This process is considered transformative that ultimately leads to deeper self-understanding and spiritual growth. That sounds exactly like what I went through and how it happened to me, okay? First off, there are phases that you go through in your dark night of the soul. I'm going to also read off some of the key factors in understanding and knowing if you are experiencing a dark night of the soul. Okay, so I wrote some key aspects on my phone and I'm going to just read them off, alright? The first one says a period of crisis. It is a phase of intense spiritual and personal struggle, not punishment. It definitely feels like punishment at the time. It also says it is triggered by major events. Common triggers include death of a loved one, a divorce, job loss, or an event that invalidates one's previous life framework. Next, we have feelings of emptiness and meaninglessness. Individuals may feel lost, questioning their identity, purpose, and beliefs. Spiritual and psychological. The experience involves a collapse of a mind-made self and a conceptual framework that previously provided meaning. Next, we have a process of purification. It is seen as a necessary and transformative stage by stripping away old beliefs and attachments to pave the way for new growth. The next one is outcome. Emerging from this period can lead to a transformed state of consciousness, a stronger sense of self, and a deeper, more authentic connection to life, alright? So these are all the phases that will help you to understand and know if you're dealing with a dark night of the soul. I'm sure that there are more, but these are just the ones that I found in my research. Alright, so my dark night of the soul story, the most recent phase that I went through, dated back to October 2019. And interestingly enough, today is October 21st, 2025, which marks 6 years of my father's transition. On this day, 6 years ago, I got the horrific call that my father had left this earth and had transitioned into the spiritual realm. I gained an ancestor and I'm very grateful for his presence, his fatherhood, and everything that he taught me. And so, although it's easier to say that now, at the time it was very difficult. So, 2019, in October, I lost my father, unfortunately, and I had never in my life dealt with death of a close loved one. It was very heartbreaking, triggering, difficult. So when it came to, my father's funeral, it was very difficult. My older sister and I organized the funeral with a few family members, but mostly it was her and I. And this was the beginning of my dark night of the soul. It was very difficult to accept the fact that my father had gone. And at his funeral, I was running around trying to help everyone, making sure everyone had an obituary, everyone knew where the burial site was going to be, just all the things. It's in my nature to be an event planner, organizer, to be very prompt, and I present very calm in those moments when I might be freaking out in the inside. And so I mentioned all of that to say my best friend David came to the funeral, God bless him, and he was like, I see you running around, you're making sure everyone's taken care of, you're feeding everyone, and not feeding everyone, but you're taking care of everyone, and you haven't eaten a thing. And I was like, I know, I'm gonna get to it. And he kept saying it, like, man, you need to sit down, you need to drink some water, you need to like take care of yourself. I was like, I know, but I gotta do all this other stuff. So right after the funeral was over, and me and my sisters gave a speech, me and my older sister, we gave a speech, and we went up front. I believe my younger brother did as well. We all went up there, and my older sister as well. So all four of us were up there. And long story short, we went up there, we talked for a little bit afterwards, we're running around. I'm making this story so fucking... I just want to say, I want to give myself some grace. This is very difficult to discuss. When I was writing about this, I had no idea that being this vulnerable and sharing this aspect of my life was going to be so difficult. I've been trying to record this video for hours, and I've moved locations, and I've almost started crying. It's very difficult, but I know that it's healing and it's necessary. So I'm gonna push through and continue telling my story in the hopes that it will help somebody who is going through the same thing, and it can help them out. But this is not easy at all. I just want to make note of that. All right, so the day of my father's funeral, it was really difficult, but it was a beautiful ceremony. The colors were absolutely beautiful, and I feel like me and my siblings did a great job with sending my father, home with a beautiful ceremony, and I'm really grateful for that. I've mentioned my father's funeral because the next part of my story has something to do with this. So at my father's funeral, my best friend David attended, which is my first love, my high school sweetheart, the first man that I've ever loved romantically, and he attended. We had been friends for years, almost 20 years just about, and he's just the most beautiful human being. And he attended, and he's so kind. He saw me running around and caring to everyone's needs, and he was like, you need to eat. You need to eat something, you need to drink some water. And he kept telling me. And then before you know it, he came back, I believe, with a McDonald's bag and also a bottle of water. And I was like, I'm gonna eat it. I didn't until we were leaving from the funeral, but I eventually fed myself because I was running out of eat. We stayed up all night printing obituaries, and it's one of the hardest things in the world to bury a parent. I've never experienced that level of pain and grief and resilience also, because pushing through to manage family members and what all of that entails, and finding out the true essence of people's spirits in the midst of grief. We stayed up all night preparing for the funeral, still going to get something to wear, taking care of each and every aspect of it. The homegoing was beautiful. So I finally ate the food that he gave me. We're driving to the burial site and whatnot. But if for some reason it really stuck out to me that he was trying to take care of me. He was very intentional with making sure that I ate, and that I was caring for myself. Little did I know that 1 year to date that I would be attending my best friend's funeral. This is hard, God. This is hard. Right. So So, although the transition of losing my father in 2019 was really difficult, especially, trying to take care of my mom. She was super strong with it all. But I feel like I eventually got back on my feet. And then in October, the preceding year, when I all of a sudden lost my best friend, just here one day, just gone the next, it absolutely rocked my world. I won't get into the details because I respect my best friend and his family choice to not get into the depths of his demise. But just to give context, he unlived himself. I don't even know if I can talk about this. So after my best friend transitioned, I developed tremors in my hands where I couldn't hold anything in my hand without shaking tremendously, and it was difficult to write, type, anything that had me focus my hand on anything. My brain literally went into a shock, and this lasted for a while, for a few weeks, for a few months. And my niece was there when I found out he's transitioned, so I feel like God sent somebody down to Atlanta to be with me as I learned this news, because I don't know what would have happened to me if I would have found out about his demise. And I was by myself. So I'm super grateful for that. And I'm just trying to get through this, y'all. Please forgive me. So I developed the tremors, and then I developed a speech issue. And I started studying extremely bad. My brain just, I couldn't suppress anything anymore. My survival tactic used to be suppression. And my brain said enough. I'm not gonna keep suppressing stuff, and I just popped, basically. And it's like something was just wrong with my brain, and I ended up going to the doctor. I went to the urgent care because I thought that I had experienced a stroke, because I couldn't use my hands and I was having speech issues, and how I remember stuttering so hard, and I was having an out-of-body experience, and I was looking at myself and I was like, who is this? I know what I want to say, and then when it came to saying it, I just couldn't. That was the worst year of my life. The worst year of my life. The day of the funeral, or the day that I had to take the flight to Minnesota, it took everything in me to hop on a flight to go to my best friend's funeral. What? Literally on the same day that my dad passed. Around the same time, literally. So here I am, experiencing the first year without having my father. The first years when you first realize the Christmas, the Thanksgiving, birthdays, Father's Day, and you're like, it's tough having Father's Day and being like, dang, my dad ain't even here. So I went through all of that, and then now my best friend is gone. It was wild. To say the least, it was wild. And then, like I said, I dealt with the speech issue. I dealt with the tremors. I went to urgent care, and they gave me Adderall or something, some sort of like an anxiety pill. saying that grief can trigger these sort of things and, over time. But it was a quick fix. I felt like something else was going on. My brain fell off, honestly, and I was not okay. I dealt with the tremors off and on for quite some time. I went to the funeral. That was very difficult. I almost didn't go because it was so hard to do. But I ended up going, paying my respect. And that whole year, I went through just absolute heartache, of my dad and my best friend now being gone. And then the fear of losing another loved one suddenly after losing my father and my best friend has been the greatest struggle ever. Yeah, that was difficult. That was definitely difficult. So I just dealt with a long bout of the heaviest depression I had ever experienced in my life. When I say I felt like I had been absolutely abandoned by God, I felt so desolate and so hopeless, and I mean the pit of my soul was underneath the earth. I felt so lost, so disconnected, so I did not want to be around anymore. It has been the hardest few years of my life. In the midst of dealing with the dark night of the soul, I'm still working my regular job after a while, going back to work. It just was on autopilot, honestly. I lost all of my desire for anything fun. I lost my desire for any connection, really. I didn't drink. I didn't do anything really fun like that. It was pandemic. We had Trump in office for the first time. It was tough. It was tough. I'm talking pit of my soul, tough. It was, when I say the deepest depression was on me. And it was really, really difficult. I can't necessarily say what helped, what didn't help. One thing I know for sure is that I was vegan at the time and malnutrition because I wasn't getting all the nutrients that I needed. Now I'm taking a lot more vitamins. I feel like my cognition is returning, and I feel like I'm caring for my body a way that I wasn't doing before. So I'm getting a little tired. But I can't tell you what helped or what didn't help. I just had to wait it out until the night of the soul was done. Honestly, that was all that I had to do. I tried everything. I'm resilient as hell, and I literally tried everything, but nothing was really working at all. Nothing. It transformed the hell out of me, and I'm stronger because of it, but it almost broke me. But that was my dark night of the soul. It just started to wear off in 2025, to be honest, and I'm just not coming out of it. This has been therapeutic and helpful as well, and I know that that's the reason why God has chosen me to express myself on this platform, to be a therapy for myself as well as others, to find comfort and to find, I feel so low energy. I'm really tired, and this has been really difficult to discuss, but I'm still get this video out, but I hope that this has helped someone. It's been a little triggering for me, if I'm honest, but I know that it's healing as well, and that's what I need, some healing. I want to share with you all, as I close, some ways that I looked up how to navigate the dark night of the soul. I have them on my phone. I'm going to just read them off. Y'all, my throat chakra is over it. So the first one says, do not resist it. Allow the process to unfold rather than trying to escape it. The next one says, be present. Sit still, be quiet, and wait for clarity rather than pushing into conclusions. It says, remember the good, reflect on past experience of kindness, love, and faithfulness to provide perspective. Next it says, affirm truth. Ground yourself in what is true and essential. Next I have, focus on authenticity. Use this time to reevaluate what genuinely brings meaning and aligns your life with true self. Those are the tips. And I want to add a few as well. I want to say self-love has to be at an all-time high. I know it's really difficult because you're dealing with the dark night of the soul, but I would highly suggest pampering yourself if you can. Manicures, pedicures, I know it sounds like really not necessary, but treating yourself in a moment of the dark night of the soul is so necessary, and not indulging in overeating, overstimulation through social media. It is so important to get a massage, find somebody that you trust that you can talk to, go to therapy. Number one, go to therapy. Find someone to help you process the trauma. Paint, that's what I do to process the trauma. Create art, however you do so, whether it be music, sports, whatever it is, playing an instrument. Find something that you love and tap into it hard, tap into it, okay? And just lastly, I want to say, it doesn't last forever. It can be very, very difficult. It doesn't last forever. Remind yourself of all the things that you've been through and that you persevered through those things, and you're still here. So this was really vulnerable, difficult to discuss, and I apologize for the low energy. My throat chakra is just done for. I'm going to wrap it up. I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope that you got something from it. And my heart goes out to you if you are dealing with the dark night of the soul. And if you have dealt with the dark night of the soul, let me know what your experience has been like. Sending lots of love and light to you all. Remember to take some deep breaths. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and thank you for allowing me to have a safe space to express everything I've been through and to give you my perspective. May God bless you. May you be healed. I pray for your divine protection. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, bye.